Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ilja and today I'm gonna tell you all the do's and don'ts of sexting. So to start off with, what exactly is sexting? It is the digitally sending or receiving of sexually suggestive or explicit content. So you can do this through photos, through videos, through messages or texts, but you can also do it through live chatting. So for example, Skype or FaceTime, which is kind of like a live video. And some might also say that calling can also be part of sexting. So sexting might sound kind of scary and it can feel like no one is actually doing it because it's not very widely talked about. But I found a study that did a survey in the US and they actually found that between the ages of 18 and 82 years old, 88% of the people had ever sexted and 82% of the people had sexted in the past year. They were talking about text messages only, but it's still sexting. So a lot of people are doing it and you probably just don't know about it because we don't talk about it a lot. If we talk about it, it's usually in the news or shaming someone because some photo leaked or something, and we are usually blaming the person who the photo is from. But I'm here to change that today. Also, how you can prevent that, hopefully, from happening. Because sexting can be fun. Sexting should be fun. So first of all, some things you should not do. So the first and most important one, never send a sext without consent. Got it? Never. You should have consent from the person receiving it, and you, the one sending it, should also be comfortable with what you're sending. There should be consent from both sides. Also, never forward a sext without consent. If someone sends you a sext, it is usually because they trust you, so don't abuse that. In fact, in a lot of countries, it is actually illegal to forward a sext, and usually the police force will eventually find out who did it. And if you forward a sext from a minor, that would actually be considered child pornography, so just don't do it. However, there is nothing wrong with sending a sext with consent. And if something leaks out, it is never the fault of the original sender. But important to know, sexting should be fun and sexting can be fun. And it can actually enhance your sex life or your relationship, especially when you're in a long distance relationship. It can be really helpful to still feel connected to each other and to still get turned on by one another. But also, if you're not in a long distance relationship, it's completely fine to sext. There's nothing wrong with it if there is consent. But there's nothing wrong with sexting. Please know that. So how can you sext safely? Because we might trust the other person, which is the first step to sending a sext, but we never know what might happen with the photos or videos or whatever that we're sending. So here are just some tips to be safe as possible at least. First of all, think to yourself, how bad would it be if this would leak? I know this is not per se a safety measure, but if you are happy with your body and you wouldn't mind your stuff being all over the internet, do your thing. For most of us though, that wouldn't be the case, so I'm gonna tell you what you can do to not let that happen. So if you're not that comfortable with your body being all over the internet, which is for a lot of us, then the first thing you want to do is make sure you have a safe chat with the other person. So use a chat which is encrypted. I personally use Telegram with my boyfriend. It has a secret chat function where you can set a timer for when all the messages and whatever you send in the chat will be deleted after that time. So you can put it on a few seconds, you can put it on a minute, you can put it on a day, you can put it on a week, but the messages will be deleted and there will be no trace of them. So personally, I would really recommend Telegram for sexting, but if you have another chat that works fine for you, then go ahead, do it. But make sure it is safe, no one from the outside can get into your chat, and preferably make sure that things can be deleted from the chat. Secondly, make sure you are not recognizable. Don't put your face in the frame and take off any recognizable jewelry. So for me, that would be my bracelet or my necklaces. Make sure that you are as unrecognizable as possible. Of course, we all have some beauty spots or some marks on our body that could be recognized, but to lower the chance of you getting recognized, don't put your face in the frame and take off anything that you can take off not to get recognized. You know what? I'm actually gonna show you how to make a proper sext. I'm gonna show you how to take a photo of yourself. So I'm gonna take off all my recognizable jewelry, and after the next step, we're gonna make a pretty photo. I'm gonna keep my clothes on though. Don't get too excited. This one off. And then I have another one, which I actually cannot really take off, but I'm just gonna try and hide that one so it won't be as recognizable. Also, this is a very, like, a lot of people have this thing, so it's not super recognizable, but the other one is uniquely for me. So thirdly, make sure your surroundings are not too recognizable. So that's not really working for me because this is super recognizable. There's stuff everywhere. But I'll take you to another spot in my room which is not recognizable because it's just a gray wall. So I'll make the photo there. So for yourself, it could be that you're just on your bed with like white sheets which are not super recognizable. You can stand in front of a clear wall, you can stand in front of some white tiles in the bathroom. I don't really care, but something that is not, for example, this, which is super recognizable, or photos which are super recognizable, or this, which is super recognizable. So just take some like clear background, which could be in anyone's house. So let's go and take the photo. So hello, welcome to my gray wall. So I'm gonna take a photo now. Preferably keep the head off. If you're feeling adventurous, you might like want to include your lips, but that makes you more recognizable, remember. So we're just gonna like try a few things. Oh, this looks very weird, but this is all for you guys. And that is how you do it. Just have fun with it. So here you can see the result. As you can see, no face in the frame, no recognizable jewelry or anything else except for my clothes, but that's just for this video, and no recognizable background. Then to decide what you want in your photo or in your video, make sure you try to find out what the other person likes. So for example, for a lot of men, just boobs are enough to get turned on, so full nudes aren't even always preferred. However, to find out what the other person actually likes to look at, communicate with each other. Communication is super important in all sexual relationships and also in sexting. And then if you know what the other person wants to see, just play around a little. Sometimes it's hard to find some flattering positions for your body, especially because usually we're very hard on our own bodies, but just play around, have fun, find out what works for you, find out what is most flattering for you, like try some different angles, find out what the other likes. And usually the other person doesn't really see your flaws the way you do, so don't be too hard on yourself. Oh, and for the men, we all know dick pics aren't always the most flattering, so try this, like try some different angles, try a video maybe. Maybe what the other person wants is just to see you turned on. So find out what the other likes and try some things. Then of course it's always super important that there is consent from both parties and that you only send what you are comfortable with. You should never be forced to send a sext, and receiving a sext also isn't always very much appreciated. Also, trust is very important. Trust in the other person is usually the first step, but then still you can take these safety measures because we never know what the other person might do and we never know what might happen. You might break up and then get really angry at each other, so just make sure you're safe. And actually, for the Belgian people watching, last year there was a new app introduced which is called the Condom app. Yes, you heard that right, Condom, which claims to be a digital condom for sexting. And it works like this: you make a photo of yourself and then the app will generate a watermark with the IP address of the person you're sending it to. So if it ever leaks out, people will know who was the one who leaked it, because you sent that sext to that person who you trusted. And then if that person abuses your trust, it will be all over the internet. So for the Belgian people, that is also a safe way to send your sext. But I hope I didn't scare you off too much, because the most important thing of sexting is to have fun. And since it is Valentine's Day tomorrow, I suggest you just try out some new things. Of course, communicate with your partner if that person is into that, but if they are, have fun. So that was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified for every time I post a new video, click that notification bell as well. If you want to follow more of my content, all my social media links are down in the description below. And then I hope to see you next week, where I'm going to talk about some funny biological sex facts. So that should be a lot of fun as well. But for now, happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. Remember, always have fun, enjoy your life, which also means your sex life. And I hope to see you next week. Bye!